contact to who?
All right, well, I'm not gonna do that. It's too late. Hi, Josh. Everybody ready? Okay. I call this work session to order, 7 o'clock on October 13th, 2025. We are here to discuss the payment from the borough to the township to cover fire services. I have a little more information that I had earlier, but first, the borough wants a fee-for-service contract with no percent of capital purchases, and we totally agree on that. Dennis and I, when we were talking, we totally agreed with that. There's no reason for them to pay for equipment or anything like that, and they don't want that. They want a contract sort of like we have with Wrightstown for police services, straight and clean. There was a sticking point, which I think we're going to get rid of really quick tonight, which is workman's comp, and I'm going to throw that to Micah to explain what he has to say.
So, thank you, Madam Chair. So,
Sorry, Mr. Manager, sorry.
Currently, the borough contributes and pays for the NFA's, Newtown Fire Association's workers' compensation insurance. The proposal was that the township take over those payments as well. I would be remiss if I didn't sit here and adamantly oppose that proposal. There's been several decided case laws where volunteer fire companies and members have made an argument that they are technically township employees because certain wages and benefits are paid for by the municipality. So my suggestion to this board, and will be as long as I'm here, is that the township should not take over paying directly for workers' compensation insurance. It should either be paid by the Newtown Fire Association or as it is right now.
And just to make things a little clearer, I was under the impression that it was a one-year payment that the borough was making, but it's actually, this runs till the end of 2027. That's the contract that they have with the Fire Association to pay for workman's comp until that point, which is something I just found out today. So that does throw something in that we don't have to think about anymore, because we should just let them keep paying it till the end of their contract. I think that's pretty obvious. Initially, we thought it was a low number, like 20 grand. We found out that it's not, so it's a whole different ballgame, even though Micah says, township manager says, he doesn't ever want to take that on. So,
just for information purposes, what is the number?
$34,000 a year.
Okay, thank you.
And I thought myself that it was 28 or 23. Yeah.
We went through a lot of suppositions until we came to the right number. And the right amount of time.
We have never paid for this in the past, is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, so why should we incur this? I don't care if it was $10. That should be held by the borough indefinitely. Not when this contract's over, indefinitely. That should be their responsibility, not ours.
I think the thought was that if we had all responsibility, then, and if it was $20,000, that was way more possible to have all the responsibility instead of the borough, who doesn't want any responsibility. No, you know, nothing towards you as far as that's concerned, huh?
No responsibility for all the itemized.
Right, none for the capital purchases, right. So that's where I thought we would go, but it didn't work out that way. The numbers didn't add up that way.
You wanted us to absorb this responsibility?
I thought if it's $20,000,
So our
we could do that.
taxpayers that pay taxes to the township should be paying for the borough, and the borough pays nothing. This is appalling in my opinion. I wish there were more taxpayers here to hear that our taxpayers, when we tax them, their taxes are going to pay for the borough to get services. And the borough pays nothing.
I believe.
Boy, what do you believe, Dennis? Go ahead.
I believe we're gonna offset that by increases in the bottom line number.
Your bottom line number is too low to begin with.
Okay.
We just hired 2 new firefighters that are probably at the cost of, with benefits and everything, $300,000 apiece. And they can't even cover one of those firefighters. But our firefighters, paid by our taxpayers' money, enters into the borough to take care of the borough. That's not a bad gig, man. Why don't we just have our Public Works Department take care of the borough's public works and let our taxpayers pay for that? I don't understand this insult of a negotiation. They want it to be like Wrightstown. Wrightstown
No, I didn't, they didn't say that. I said that.
You said they want to be like Wrightstown.
No,
or they
I
should be
said
like
I was
Wrightstown.
just
Can one
comparing
of us
it
speak
to
the
fee
time?
for service.
Go ahead, Steve.
That's all. I was just comparing it to a fee for service contract, that's all.
Well, they're not paying enough fees for the service.
I hear you.
Well, understood, you guys come back with negotiations that are like rock bottom. These negotiations haven't started with just you and Dennis. This goes back for years. As a matter of fact, Kurt Ferguson was the manager at that time, and myself and Jen Dix were on the board and negotiated with them at that time. And at that time, we were told, oh, next year we'll put it in their budget, we'll put it in our budget, next year we'll put it, well, can we revisit the budget next year? And what happens is, we just keep giving free service every year, next year. Because, to me, it's a lack of respect to the township. And unfortunately, there's only one council person here, they should all be here tonight to hear this. Every year, they could have budgeted something going back probably 10 years ago. 10 years, and they never did. And here we're wasting time again, for what? So they'll just keep prolonging it, kick the can down the road? Again, our taxpayers, I wish they were listening to this, are paying for the borough's fire service. I don't know. I was elected by the taxpayers of Newtown Township to take care of Newtown Township. Maybe you guys were elected by a joint Newtown Township, Newtown Borough situation, but I wasn't.
No, we're just trying to do the best we can. We don't want to put too much on. We want a tiered effect so that they can start by raising taxes let me finish now. And in a way that we can increase it over time. So it's not, they're gonna raise their taxes 2 mil. Huh?
Okay? I don't care what they raise their taxes.
I know you don't, but I do.
Why do you care what we raise our taxes? You care what our taxpayers pay? I'm sure you don't. But anyway, that's okay, it's a rhetorical question, you don't have to answer. Anyway, my proposal, and this is the only one I'll vote for, is they should pay $330,000, which is equivalent to 1 mil. Okay? Because why should our taxpayers pay that 1 mil?
Actually, that's not 1 mil.
What's 1 mil?
I don't agree.
About 330.
No. Your mill versus the borough mills, those are different.
That's okay, but you're gonna pay for the mill. 5% increases per year for a 3-year contract. again, like I said, our 2 firefighters at a cost of $300,000 per year with their package. No workman's compensation at all, okay? The Newtown residents, again, are taxed to pay for Newtown Borough's fire situation. The bottom line is, $330,000 they can pay us, or they can basically open up their own fire department for about approximately $5 million. I don't know how much that would cost their taxpayers, but maybe they should open up their own fire department at $5 million. Our budget item is about $4 million per year, of which, what's $330,000 against $4 million?
8, 7, 8.
Okay? But the whole thing is, they're not contributing anything. And they come back with this slap in the face, 227,000 in 2026, 250 in 2027, and 275 in 2028. My God, come on, doesn't even pay for one of our firefighters that we just hired. We come here, we have the pomp and circumstance, we hire the firefighters, and then the borough doesn't even cover enough for those firefighters for one of those firefighters to even work in this township. I just think you're giving it away. You're being too nice. You've got to come down with a bold statement and not be this wishy-washy. We'll pay. Look, it was 20,000. We'll pay 20,000. Hey, you know what? Take it out of your own pockets. Treat the money as if it was your
Yes, go
money.
ahead.
Treat the money as if it was your money, not as if it
All right,
was. No, this is a
let Dennis
discussion, isn't this?
Yes, I think.
Yes,
Well,
but we all need to have
Had a couple of points of
But
clarification.
if Dennis is going to discuss the 225,000, that's hogwash.
No, we're all giving our opinions, but we must do it in an orderly fashion.
Yeah.
And so we heard you loud and
Well, I'm
clear.
not done. But
Well, okay, but let the rest of us have a say, and then we'll get back to it and try to figure it out together.
You have been having to say with the negotiations for I don't know how long.
Well, for 4 years.
Yeah, for 4 years, and
And
there was,
let me
and
ask you-
there was back 4 years before that,
Phil.
maybe.
Okay, you gonna let me talk? For 4 years, we've been negotiating back and forth, and we've had money coming in from the borough. Before that, there was no money coming in, ever, despite negotiations that people walked out of. Wasn't big enough for them, but that's okay. I'd rather have nothing than something. The other thing I want to clarify is that the cost for one firefighter is $145,000, $150,000. I still get your points. You'd like more.
That's true. It's a little more than that by the time you outfit them.
But it's not 300,000 for one.
No, it's 275,
Yeah, about 275.
One
Right.
will cover two.
2 firefighters, right, which is
No, that's per firefighter. That's per-
275 per
Per
firefighter.
How much per
For
fight?
1 year?
For the first year.
For the first year. What about the
outfit and all
second
that,
year?
yeah.
How much did you say, sorry?
275, roughly.
Is that stay like that for the rest of the years, or just the first
No,
year
once they
because
have-
we have to buy turnout gear and all that
Turnout gear,
stuff?
uniforms, all that stuff. Once they have that won't occur the following year until it needs to be replaced.
Could I ask, Phil, can you please, as I see it, we have two proposals. Your proposal and their proposal, which is, I know you think it's low, right? But I wanted to just frame this as, let's see the differences between these two proposals. First one from the borough is starting payment of what, two what?
227.
In the first
This is-
year?
Yeah, but this is way old.
Wait a minute.
No, this is,
August 15th.
That's right.
This is 2 months old. You've since negotiated
I
Wait, we're not
understand, but
finished
we're-
yet.
Let us step
different
back.
numbers, so.
Let us
right
step
now,
back.
they're-
Dave, please.
These are the
Right.
numbers I have. It
This
could
is
be-
what they sent us.
It could be wrong, and then it goes up to,
Here it is. Here's what they sent us.
270s.
You have a copy right in front of you, right here.
all right, so first year, 227 something or other, 250, 275. But I thought there was a different ramp up that you mentioned.
Correct.
Where does that, how does that come in?
Okay.
Where does that come in? I mean, they said, I don't know what the exact numbers are, but it looks like it goes up to 276 in the second year. Is that what true?
No, and for them?
Yeah.
Or for us?
For them?
250,
Yeah, but you said
419.
there was a new ramp up.
No, just what we offered, which is,
The last thing we offered back was 267, 275, 275.
right.
Okay, but what they have here, all right, so Phil is saying 330, Phil?
330 would probably cover 1 mil of our tax.
So for all 3 years, no ramp up, nothing like that?
5% increase per year for a 3-year period. It's the same thing that,
And,
Rochester
no-
Township pays us for police,
And we don't pay the workers' compensation?
no workman's compensation.
So, that's the difference here, is how much money does all this work out to be? That's 100,000, 180,000, maybe $300,000 over 3 years, looks like to me, right?
The difference? between-
Difference, around 300,000?
Since we just found out that they have to pay workman's comp until the end of 27.
Let's leave that aside for now.
Okay, but that was part of what we
Well,
offered.
I'm just looking at the yearly fee for service payment to us.
This
which
year
is-
it was 191.
Okay, so you got 300,000 over 3 years difference. Now, I know they would be reluctant, or not reluctant, they would be loath to raise property taxes right away to meet some of these numbers. So is there a compromise here between these two numbers that we can possibly talk about at least? Instead of 300,000 the first year?
John, there's been a compromise for over 10 years. The compromise has been, the borough never has taken into account putting money in their budget to take care of this. The compromise is 330,000 or 5 million. That's what I look at compromise.
I disagree. So I think,
Where does the 5 million come in? What are you
To
talking about?
start their own fire
Oh.
department. I mean, what would be the wiser decision for the borough to make in regards to their residents? The 330,000 with 5% increments for 3 years? Or establishing, because come the first, if there's no agreement, come the 1st of January, what are they gonna do?
You know,
What are their homeowners gonna do when their insurance companies find out they have no fire coverage?
I come from New York,
we're trying to help them, not hurt them.
and there was
Let's
a
just-
famous saying,
Then why don't you, why is this farce of a meeting being held if we're not trying to help Newtown Township? I'll tell you one thing, I'm glad that the opposition party is not here, because that would be my take, is how this board is letting the township residents pay for the borough's, fire coverage. But I don't see Mrs. Mahal or anybody here that would take that up. But that's how I would do it, if I was running the opposition's campaign.
you would do
And
what?
I hate
I'm
to say
sorry.
that. I hate to say that.
What would
but
he do?
This is more of an
300 and
issue.
something,
This is more of an
330
issue
plus
than the sewer authority building a sewer plant. That was taken care of. This is more of an issue because it's an ongoing thing. And it's not, apparently, Madam Chairwoman, you'd rather have the residents of the township than worried about, I don't want to hurt anybody in the borough. You're not hurting anybody in the borough. We're giving them services for money that they are giving us.
I hear you, but they're already gonna have to raise their taxes 2 mil. I know you don't care. Let me
Well,
finish.
listen, let me tell you this too. You better have 3 votes for an increase in taxes for this township, because I'm not voting for a tax increase. I'm gonna go along with the borough. I'm not gonna vote for a tax increase for my residents. So you, Mr. Mack and Dennis, and maybe throw in Kyle, better vote for that, because I am not. I know this is not on the record because this is a private meeting, but it is a public meeting. But it's not being, maybe John is recording it, I have no idea.
Yes, sir.
But you 3 vote for the tax increase. That's all I have to say. And now take care of what you want with the borough. Give them what you want.
I'd like to suggest possibly a 1-year contract, and then we have information about the fire commission in Harrisburg. It helps everybody figure out the right price between contracts between townships and boroughs.
Sure, give them more time to like just push it off.
That's why I'm asking for a 1-year contract.
Dennis, you're not gonna be on the board come January.
Correct.
So you're not gonna have to put.
Maybe I'll move to the borough.
Yeah, maybe you should. We'll give you stuff for free. What do you want for free in the borough? We'll give it to you. We'll give it to you. Go ahead. They seem to be your people.
So-
The only one that's ever correct sometimes is when John DiEppo comes up here and says, we're elected to take care of the township, not the borough. But maybe since you were elected by the borough, I have no idea. But you know what? That's up to you from now to January. And, you know, what you're gonna do is gonna be your legacy as in regards to what you're gonna give away.
And I consider my legacy
you know,
as what the last.
I'd like to come to a happy medium tonight
So-
instead of arguing. So I think that our original offer was 250, 275, 275. I would be happy with 275, 275, 275. Or I would be happy with a 1-year deal of 275 and let us figure out next year the proper way to do it. And maybe we can get some help from the fire commission, which is free.
That goes as a 3-year contract.
Well, we're discussing that right now. We don't have to have a 3-year contract.
Nothing's in writing, yeah, we do 1 year.
Nothing's in writing. That's why we're discussing it right now.
Good.
Have the-
We can't vote on anything tonight. So it
No,
doesn't
of
matter.
course not. And that's why it's a work session, so we can discuss it freely.
Well, good thing it'll be a televised meeting where probably more people will be here next.
Okay, so would you think of having a compromise
No.
with some of the rest of us?
No,
No.
Okay, so regardless of what,
doesn't matter, you just need 3. That's all.
yeah, it doesn't,
It's-
regardless of,
I'm not gonna be one of the supervisors that stab my taxpayers in the back.
all right, that's,
But it's made it really difficult to negotiate. And at one point, we were saying 275 would be okay. And then, then the next thing I heard was 300, now we're up to 330. What's going to happen in the time it takes for us to meet again, talk to everybody, is it gonna go up to 360?
You know what, if it did,
No.
that's not bad then.
No, we have to, there's no time before the end of the year. We have to make a decision. We have to send it in writing to the borough. What our decision is, there's no time for
all
negotiation.
right, there's a third option here, which the chairperson has put forward, a 1-year contract starting at 275 rather than 330. So, but that would just be a 1-year contract. That's
Correct.
the idea?
And, yes,
In the
and
meantime,
then
we
we,
contact the Governor's Center for Local Government Services, and they will do a fire study.
They would do what?
They would do a cost analysis of what the borough
the
should
number
cost.
should be.
I hope they won't be like that Dr. Carter, who really would have let us dry if we listened to what.
Well,
what
it's
he
not like
proposed.
it's binding.
He was free.
It's not like it's binding, and we can ask for this information, it's free. They will come and do the work of figuring out the right number. As I said, we can accept it or not accept it, but at least we'll have time to listen to it and have have them make sense of what the right thing to do is. And that is really why I want the 1-year deal, so we can have some help figuring out. And if you don't agree with it, then we can move on. But I think if we can get some help, there's nothing wrong with that.
You pretty much have established what you want to do, so I don't.
That's ridiculous, Bill.
Is the
It was
meeting over with?
you asked to have this meeting.
Okay.
And so we did.
Yeah.
So
right.
Because the negotiations that was going on was a joke.
well, can you compromise in some way with us who are thinking of ways to not,
Thinking of ways to make the borough happy.
no.
That's what you
we're-
just said.
No,
Well,
You don't want-
if we don't get anything, there's no increase, we'd have to increase our budget.
For what reason? We're not gonna send anybody into the borough.
There'll be,
we're not
It's
doing
not
that.
anything.
This is not a punishment. We
You were
wanna
talking
have
the
the
other day,
contract.
You were talking about, if we didn't have a contract, the borough would have no coverage come January,
That's
blah, blah, blah.
correct.
And
Yes.
now all of a sudden, you're backing out on.
I'm not backing out on anything. I never agreed with your 300,000 to begin with when you sent it to
That was
me.
my figure going back to
I-
the beginning of the year.
And guess what?
We started with that.
That's not an out of range figure. But the thing is, nobody is going to want to raise their taxes out of a certain range when it's going to be painful for the people,
Well,
either us
You know,
or
I
the borough.
agree with Phil. That's not our concern about the taxes. You started out at 300,000 and they negotiated you down, basically, from
we
that.
negotiated them up from 191.
I
Yeah.
thought you just said we started at 300,000.
300,
We told them
304.
that's what we wanted.
And then it somehow got down to 227.
No, it didn't ever get down to that. This
Well,
is
I
the
see the
letter that
number
they
here,
sent us
227.
through their lawyer.
And then
So
we got,
this was not a negotiation. They sent this through their lawyer to tell us what their numbers were. These have nothing to do with our numbers. This is what they were asking for.
Our number was 300,000
304.
when you started out with, and now their offer is 227. So
So we
they're
tried to come to a
negotiating you
happy-
down
Well,
from
we-
300,000.
They were below that, they were
When-
190 or something.
when we got,
They went lower, didn't they? Were they at 190? Now, you look at
190,
No, 191 is what they're
191
paying
is
now.
what they paid
Oh,
2025.
So even what they're paying is below what we would want.
So what we're asking for is a little short of $100,000 increase in a year, which is, difficult with their budget, but I understand, I care about the township. But, I mean, we do,
When we got this letter from them, we did a survey of individual board members where they were thinking, and the number 275 seemed to be a consensus. I mean, I've got it in writing from Kyle.
Did you talk to me?
yes,
I'm old, I can't remember.
You
the
keep saying that.
shite.
Ellen told me she talked to you guys.
no, I definitely talked to you. You talked to Kyle,
Yeah.
and I talked to him, and Phil said 275 was the number, and
And
that's,
275 never came through.
well, it was,
227. That's why we're having this meeting tonight.
right, it was 250 for the first year, then 275, 275.
Yeah.
So what I'm saying is, if you want to go higher, then I think the fair thing is 275, 275, 275 at the max, if you want a 3-year deal. And like I said, I only want a 1-year deal, seeing the predicament we're in now. And so we can figure out what the right thing to do during the next year. Because
So-
we didn't negotiate really till the fall this year.
What's
No
the
fault of
implication
our
of kicking this can down the road, namely a 1-year deal, where we have 2 new supervisors who we don't know exactly who they're gonna be? What's the consequence of that? Is it make it easier for us or harder?
It depends on
And
who gets elected.
you can't say services are gonna end if they don't pay. This is the quandary, because where I come from, firemen always come. So, we have a fire department. If there's a fire in the borough, they get called as well as other fire
I would
departments.
think there'd be a bill sent to them.
But the whole
Well,
thing
that's
is-
another issue, maybe.
The whole thing is that,
They want it to be billed for services? That's a service.
the whole thing is, we can report, and probably would, to a fire, but that holds them really accountable to waiting for mutual aid to come and take it. There's no guarantee of a fire department showing up. That's the guarantee they're getting from us, is that they're gonna have fire services. Now, fire happens, we report to it, but that's not a guarantee.
We don't have 24-hour coverage, right?
Not
No.
yet. We're striving to get there, but no, we don't have it yet. And so when we talk about mutual aid, of course means that there's two parties that have something to give. And as far as
So-
the borough, they don't have anything to give if
Let me
they don't
just ask
sign a
this, though,
contract.
a mutual aid, I mean, I don't know who else, like Upper Mayfield has a fire department, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
They might come to Newtown Borough and they don't get any money from the borough, right?
No, but they have a relationship with the chief.
But
As
the chief-
Northampton is the first line of communication, that if they need help, usually it's Northampton that comes first. And that is mutual aid, when you
So,
have
but
something to give.
Northampton doesn't get any money from the borough, right?
No, it's a favor done because the chief has built relationships.
What do you
And
mean a
that's why-
favor? Firemen gotta go to fires.
It would be the mutual aid with NFA, and it's all connected, the contracts, agreements with Borough and NFA, Township with NFA. So I think that's where your mutual aid comes in.
But the whole thing is, when their residents go to apply for their new homeowner's insurance policy, there's no guarantee of a fire department. There's mutual aid, yes, and that's understandable, but there's no guarantee that Northampton will be there, Newtown will be there. It's whoever's available will be there. But right now, we would be the ones constantly available, that they would have guaranteed coverage.
Yes, of course.
Does
Right.
Northampton Fire have a 24-hour coverage?
They have
They
a
do.
fire. Well, yes, they do.
So,
but if
in
they
my
wouldn't-
experience, I don't know, recent fires are happening during daylight hours, but I don't know. A fire can happen at any time, as we know.
All I'm saying is mutual aid means that when the NFA responds to a fire and they need help, then other companies will come and help them. It doesn't mean that if they have no contract, that those fire companies will come and help them. They won't. They won't. Because if there's no contract between the borough and the NFA and us, then there is no responsibility for other fire companies to come and respond.
So I understand that the volunteer fire department is in trouble, let's say.
Losing membership.
And in terms of membership, and how has their responses been to fires? Is it,
Good and getting better.
so the borough is depending on
We have
that.
the chief here, maybe he can answer that.
Oh, yes. And I think Josh might want to say something from Borough Council as well, and you're free to do so.
Well, if you like, I don't know, but my point is that they are getting coverage and they're not paying anybody for it.
Yeah, but they're not getting guaranteed coverage. That's the whole thing, John.
Matters to your insurance.
Would you just want to sit back and say, we get a fire, somebody will show up?
Our
that's
coverage is not
impossible.
guaranteed either. We're not there 24 hours a day. Our firemen are only there between, 6 a.m. and 6 p.m.?
But the volunteers are the ones that make up the rest of those hours, and volunteers and staff show up even if it's not in those hours, because it's the right thing to do.
The response time is, again, let
That's-
the chief.
Let the chief,
The response time is.
that's the most important thing.
What are
is
you asking
response
of the
time.
chief?
I'm asking him to explain what those numbers mean and how quick you can show up with having a solid contract with the borough and not having any contract at all, and what would happen then. Did I say that right?
Well, I can tell you that between 6 a.m. and 6 p.m. are on-scene times, and within 6 minutes, anywhere in the borough or township. After that, our on-scene time is anywhere from 13 to 15 minutes. So we're doubling our on-scene time from the career staff to volunteers.
But we still get there, right?
Well, I'm not going to stand here and say yes. I just had an incident the other night, 2 Friday nights ago, where I got no response out of the volunteers at 11 o'clock at night. Northampton was dispatched to come and cover the call. The volunteers finally got out. I think it was 17 minutes later. As the fire chief, that's not acceptable to me. That's why I come before you folks all the time and stress the need for 24-hour coverage. I know this is not the place to do that, but you know, I do understand Mr. Clabber's point of view, and I understand everybody's point of view. But as the fire chief, I think somebody said it best: if there's a fire, we're not going to not go. I will not do that ethically. I will not do that as born and raised in Newtown. I don't care where the fire is, if it's in Northampton, if it's in Newtown Borough. If someone is in need, I'm going to go.
But what you're saying is the volunteers' service is inadequate and is going to probably get worse
Yes.
because not enough volunteers are available when they need to be available. So that's what the borough is up against, the worsening ability for their people to be protected by whatever fire company is responding. But if they're depending upon the Newtown Fire Association, they're in big trouble.
And we are in big trouble sometimes after 6 p.m., but we're in the same boat after 6 p.m. And that's what we have to take into consideration also. Like I agree with the entire conversation. I know you guys get tired of hearing me say that we need more, we need more, we need more. But it's my responsibility as the fire chief and to the township manager that I provide the service that I'm supposed to provide. I cannot guarantee that after 6 p.m. I will tell you that, I told you that before. I cannot guarantee you that a fire truck is coming to your residence after 6 p.m.
Okay.
I would like
Chief,
to
how
think
many
that.
more firefighters would we need to maintain the 24-hour department?
10,
How many do we have now?
14.
So we're
So we
doing
need
that
10
the
per
best
shift,
we can.
or
We need
10?
6 per shift.
Okay. So you say we need 10 more?
We need 10 more.
10 more?
Yes.
And it's gonna
So
take us a while to get there.
10, well, I'm sure you could hire 10 within probably a year if there's qualified.
If we have the money.
10 tomorrow.
Well, we're talking about like money means nothing here. Yeah, we hire 10 more, who's paying for this?
Well, that's why
Is
we're
the
not
borough gonna now
hiring.
give us $500,000?
That's why we're not hiring 10 more right now. We're not hiring any next year. We just hired 2 this year. That's all we can do right now.
And we can't even afford them.
So we're all in trouble, basically. And
We're all in trouble, but the township is footing the bill.
I understand that. And I don't know if this 1 year is a stopgap or kick the can down the road until we can get more opinions from experts. If they agree to that, the 1 year contract,
Go
they
ahead.
may like that idea, I don't know.
Go put the speak, that's on. Here, talk to us.
Yeah. Hi, Josh Phillips, Newtown Borough Council. Thanks for having this discussion this evening. I think it's really great to hear all of your ideas and your positions. So first I'd like to say that I think that in general what we have are multiple organizations. Let's see here, we have the Township, Taxpayers and Council. We have the Borough Council. We have the paid firefighting staff, Newtown Fire Department. And then we also have the Newtown Fire Association, which is a volunteer fire department. So there's 4 organizations that are kind of intersecting here, and everyone has a part and piece of this puzzle. Some of it's divvied up based on population. You all are obviously much larger than the borough, and so you're going to fit a much larger share of that responsibility and also, I guess, expense. The volunteers, they're dwindling down. So the Newtown Fire Department is being asked to step up and fill in those gaps. And within the borough, we sort of feel like we're in between everyone in this situation. We are trying to help support our Newtown Fire Association by paying workers' comp. We also have other things in that contract which we're obligated to. In total, we're paying another probably around $50,000 to $55,000 just to the volunteer organization to help them out, to keep them volunteering in those hours between, Chief, was that 6 to when?
6 to 6, 6 p.m. to 6 a.m.
6 p.m. to 6 a.m. So I do feel like I hear a lot of the borough is not paying into anything, but we are shouldering this volunteer fire department, and we have for many, many, many years, right? We've invested in them. The fire station is in the borough, right there. A lot of members in the community have, for a long time, served as volunteer firefighters. So I feel like the borough has contributed in many ways, maybe not always as financial as Phil has pointed out, to the extent that the township has, but we've been all partners in this. I want to back up for a minute and talk about the original agreement that we entered into. And I think, Dennis, I may need you to help me with the dates on this because you were actually a part of that. But we had a third-party state entity come in and evaluate what are the needs, what are the capabilities of the fire department, what are the needs based on population, and then they kind of broke down what is the fair share that the borough should pay for its portion, and what's the fair share that the township should pay for its portion. And that's how we got to these numbers of 186, and last year we paid, I think, 191, but then above and beyond that, there were other things that we
Some
did.
capital purchases like turnout
Yeah,
gear.
capital purchase, turnout gear. There was I think a vehicle that was purchased last year, utility vehicle, I think, those kinds of things. So there was 191 plus some more money, right? And from the borough's perspective, it just looks like I guess 300 is very far from what was suggested just several years ago from this third-party entity. And so I think that while we all want to be involved in this partnership and pay our fair share, at one point, as I think some supervisors have pointed out, we paid nothing to the township, nothing. And so at this point, I think that what the borough wants to do is pay their fair share within the perspective of raising taxes responsibly. And I think that at the moment we are saying that we are shouldering part of that piece between the 4, right? The NFA, the Newtown Fire Department, Township gets money from us, right? And then we're the other piece. So I feel like we are and have been paying into that. So at 250, that still puts us at 300. Okay, that's the borough perspective.
You mentioned a third party. Who was that third party? Can you tell me who that was?
Sorry, NFA.
No, the advisor that had, in the original contract, 2022.
Exactly, yes, the report that was done, and they came up with a number, and I think that even back then, 300 was being proposed, and they came in and said, wait a second, that's not quite exactly what they should be paid in this situation. Now, One thing that I will say to that third-party agreement, and it may be relevant, I think that I brought this up in our conversation, that maybe the things have changed. I mean, we're looking at data on the other side of 2020, on the other side of COVID. Our volunteer fire department has changed. There's a change in needs and equipment and so forth, so it may be worth a look to have sort of a standardized set of metrics for the borough and the township to figure out what is the fair share that we should be paying, what should you all be paying, what should you all be doing to best serve your residents, and also due diligence for taxpayer money. So I think all of these things kind of come out of the report.
So, some of it might, but it's certainly not binding.
No, and it's not binding, but I think that it gives us a common set of numbers to work from.
So the third party again is what's the name there?
The Governor's Center for Local Government Services.
And that was in 2022?
When they had done that.
So it's a fairly long time
2 years.
between now and then. Things have changed.
A lot. I think they have, yeah.
And, Alan was suggesting another study, have them come back, is that it?
Yeah, they never did it for us, they did it for the borough.
They did it for the borough.
Well,
Well, of course,
actually, I spoke with them because I think it's a great idea. We could enter into a mutual sort of investigation, so we would put forward a resolution that we are going to want to enter into this study, and we would provide data into.
Well, I don't think it should be a mutual investigation, because that means we're kind of, if whatever the answer is, then we'd be inclined to take it. And I'm not so sure that we have enough information to make that decision at this point.
We're not making any decisions right now,
What I
so-
want to mention is that what I don't understand is you have an over $2 million police department, yet you have trouble with a $250,000 payment for fire services. That makes no sense whatsoever. Fire services are just important as police, even though you might not use them as much. But with that 1 or 2 times you need them, if they're not there, you could have way more damage than, I'm just saying it's not an even thought about how you think about fire and police.
Right.
That's what I don't understand.
Sure, and I think that gets into priorities, and I think that some of our negotiations got sort of locked into those points because honestly, at the end of the day, a lot of the calls end up being EMS calls, not house fires. And so the question is, should we be spending more money on EMS services and expanding those departments? But I'm not here to discuss how you all spend your money or how we decide to spend our money. I think we're just looking at what is our responsibility in this piece of the fire services, I guess, contract. So, and what is our piece in that? So,
What do you think about a 1-year agreement?
I think that honestly, I think 1 year. I think that I think 2 years would give us room to do the study and get some answers and come back to the table with more data. Is what I think. I think 1 year will be in the same place again, and the study won't be completed, and it will be. I think a cleaner approach would be to do a 2 to 3 year deal. Honestly, just for everyone's purposes. And I have a feeling that the numbers that they come in will probably be very similar to the ones that we're talking about.
Well, I'm going to propose a 1-year contract so that we can explore other options and come up with better answers, because it's the middle of October. We don't have a lot of time. So if we could agree on a number tonight, and we could nail it down, then we could send it to you as an official letter, and you could either say yay or nay.
We can't do that tonight.
No, not tonight. We can make a decision and then vote on it at the next supervisors meeting. We can talk about what we think is right, potentially come up with a number that we all agree on, or as the best we can anyway, and then vote on that
Right.
at the next meeting.
Yeah, and again, I am just one opinion of 6. So I just want to make that clear. And the other piece of that is, just as you're thinking this over, this is about a cooperation and partnership. And we are hoping that we can all come to a number that's agreeable. I think that this town has come a long way to the borough and the township. If at one time, no one was in the borough was paying for services directly to you all, I think that this has been a huge step. And so I would hope that that's taken into consideration in the numbers. So, yeah.
Thank
So,
you.
go ahead.
No, I just want to say thank you for your
Because
comment.
the council could just say, I know that y'all are talking about hypotheticals about insurance rates, but those are hypotheticals. I mean, an insurance company's gonna look and say, they've got an 8-minute response here, they've got a fire department in the middle of the borough, they're probably not gonna go, I'm just saying, it's all hypothetical.
Well, it's
I
not
don't think
hypothetical that they're gonna wanna know that you have coverage for every
Sure,
home in business.
I understand that, but at the end of the day, I think in general, those are all hypotheticals, and what we're talking about, what I would hope that we can focus on is, we're coming to you all to say, be our service provider for our fire department, so that we can count on Newtown Township to be there for us. That's what we're asking. And we're also asking to pay a fair price for that.
And we're just asking that you do pay a fair price. And well, in my opinion, my bleeding hearts on the other side don't feel the same way, but I regard as a steward to the taxpayers of this township that the $330,000 that I was proposing is reasonable. Now, you know, our budget is $4 to $5 million, and 300,000 from the borough to cover fire safety is not a large cost for you to absorb. Again, I don't know how far back you go with this, but I go back about 10, 12 years with this, and this was discussed a long time ago, not just within the recent 2-3 years. And it was a long time for the borough to accumulate this money. Why it
Let's
wasn't
talk
done, I
about
have no idea.
275
Or maybe maybe the borough, not you
Discuss. I hear
personally,
him.
but you as a
We
plural.
can't, they can't
We're
afford
just
that.
kicking the can down the road, hoping that we would never remember this.
I think you're right, Phil, this is before my time as a resident. I've been here about 11 years. Yeah, I believe that at some point that the borough relied more heavily on for their relationship with the NFA, the Volunteer Firefighter Services. And I think that at that point, there were many more volunteers, and the response times were there. I think that this has been a factor that's been decaying more in more recent time with the drop of volunteers on the other side of COVID and things like that. I could be wrong on that data. Chief, do you have any insights? You've been here a long
I
time.
haven't been here 50 years.
Yeah, would you say that like every word 5 years?
I will just say this, there's always two sides to every discussion. Obviously, you've heard the borough side of the discussion, but if you want to go back 50 years and sit and have a beer over it, I'd be more than happy to do it. I don't think you want to hear it in front of these folks, because I think the feeling is probably different than what you feel. So as far as the borough always having the fire associations back, I'm not sure that's always been the case. So, like I said, I'd be more than happy to sit and discuss it with everybody, but I don't think you want to hear it tonight.
And Chief, just remind me, when did paid firefighters start? Was it 96?
96.
And then, of course, we always have the safer grant to think about because that's going to end soon. So, you know, that's another thing that unfortunately you're going to be part of paying because you have to be, because we can't just do it all, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just going to put forward 275 for 1 year and then we renegotiate during next year, maybe with help from these people, maybe with not, but it would give us time to really talk it out, figure it out, and it wouldn't, I know that you guys want a 3-year contract, I understand that. I don't think at that time, this time, it's gonna be the best thing to do, though. That's my opinion.
The 1-year contract gives you some time to go negotiate with Northampton or some other fire, and just drop Newtown Township.
And you could, certainly.
Well, yeah, but there's no cooperation right now, but yeah, just go find, there's Bob Pellegrino over in Northampton. I'm sure he'll be really receptive to covering the borough. But again, I'm sorry, you're talking about 275 to 330 is not that much of a stretch. When you said, how much is their police department?
Over 2 million.
Over 2 million, of which if there's any major incidents,
Actually,
our police
it's
department.
I think it's 500 is our, 1,000 is our police department.
500,000?
No, I have 2.1 million, that comes directly from your sources and your budget last year, yeah. And it's right on mine.
Oh, we-
You can look and check me, but I talked to Emily about, I talked to everybody about it, so, because I want to come to the right deal.
Somewhere in here, I think I had 3,999,000 for, what the township spends on the fire service.
Oh,
Township.
I'm sorry, I said about 4 million. 3.9.
$3.9.
Well, what's 100 grand here and there? I guess it's a lot. 25,000 is a lot of money.
Okay, so
3.999.
Oh, thank you.
let me just ask some opinions going up and down the line. Let's start with you, John. What is your opinion? Would you agree with 275 for
Well,
1 year?
I don't know about the numbers, but I have had a big problem with the number of,
Mr. Solicitor, point of order.
Yes,
Mr. Solicitor, by giving our opinion, is it in essence voting?
No, it's not voting.
Okay?
No.
It's
Opinion
not
is opinion.
casting a vote if Mr. Macri said, I agree with the 275, I think that's a good, isn't that a vote?
I'm not authorized to do any work until you may have a vote in a public
Won't
meeting
be
to authorize
until
me
the
to draft an
agenda.
agreement with specific numbers. So this is-
I'm not saying anything about the numbers. I'm saying about the number of years of a contract. For example, what you mentioned, the police department with, what's it called?
Right.
Wrightstown, Wrongstown. Anyway, I never, what was that, a 6-year contract? 10-year contract. I thought that was atrocious. I really thought that was atrocious.
In a good way or a bad way?
In a bad way. Atrocious. What? Atrocious
Okay,
is never
well,
a good
I
word.
thought atrocious for being too little money or atrocious for
No,
being too much?
I'm not talking about money. I'm talking about 10 years. You're tied to that.
see.
And who knows what's happening and going to happen in 10 years. Same thing with the 3 years, because the fire situation is much more volatile than the police department is. So, you may end up with no volunteers at all in 3 years. So that's why I would like to see a shorter contract so that we can continue to, I wouldn't say negotiate, but do some research, like get some more opinions that are more up to date than 2022. And, we weren't privy to that. We didn't have we didn't talk to this third party. We need, my opinion is that whoever pays the piper gets the right tune, you know what I'm saying? So if the borough has paid for this third party, who knows? I
think it's
don't know
free.
what's better. It's
Right?
free?
Is this
It's
free?
It's paid, the state paid. Yes.
Fine.
It's free, so there's nothing to lose.
Okay. My mistake, sorry.
Still have
Okay.
no township data in it.
Yeah, right. That's it needs input from both sides. If you're going to do that, you have to have input from both sides. And you have to have public meetings about it. You know, and not just a meeting like this is ridiculous. Meetings where people can come from both the borough and the township. That's my opinion. Now, the numbers, you can always work with the numbers. You know, right now, we're further apart, but maybe there's a middle ground, but if you start with 1 year, it might be easier than if you tried to get 3 years. That's all, my opinion.
And we only tried to get 3 years because that is what they said would make them feel secure. So we had no reason to try to help them and get a 3-year contract. The number is the problem. But again, he's right, and I agree with him that we should only do a 1-year contract right now. What do you think, Dennis?
I think having a study would be very profitable. I think if we get it started right away, if you guys get it started right away in January, we can have it, before the end of the year. If we have to make.
Yes, it's going to be about a 6-month process.
And I think 275 is a good starting number to go up from.
For 1 year.
Yeah.
Okay, so we know how you feel, Phil.
I have nothing to add.
Yeah, I know. So you're not going to vote for it.
Honestly, with what you three do, I have nothing to add.
Okay, so do we have 3 that agree that for a 1-year deal?
Well, I'm not gonna,
Yeah, I don't want to get too far.
yeah, I mean, that's a suggestion. We need to,
Still, it's discussion. I'm not gonna do anything after this meeting until
No.
I'm authorized to.
I think that's what we're trying to figure out.
And the decision will be in a public meeting, so.
Correct.
I expect we might get some feedback from the borough on that discussion, not any decision. It's just a discussion point. I
That's
don't,
fine.
but I won't be here next year on the board anyway.
But you're still going to
I'll
have
be in
to
the
vote on
audience
this.
and I'll be recording meetings.
Hey,
You're
John,
still
just
gonna have to
prolong
vote on
this
this.
past January, you won't even have to vote on it.
Excuse me?
Just prolong this past January, you won't even have to vote on it.
Okay. Make the Constitution king,
Sounds
yes.
like that.
Yeah, I carry the Constitution, I've got two constitutions at home. That doesn't mean that whether you vote or not. Okay? But don't.
Is
you
this
know,
gonna come
that's
up
not-
before a vote, before the end of the year?
I don't know.
Yes,
I think that would be.
for time's sake, we're going to have to put it on our next agenda along with the budget and.
To vote on going back to the negotiating table with a specific number?
No, not negotiating anymore.
What are we voting on then? What
We're
would we-
voting on hopefully a 1-year deal.
And having this, we'll be voting on having this, authorizing the solicitor to write up an agreement under these parameters.
Correct.
And that
That
would have to
is-
be signed by both parties then?
No.
What do you mean, no?
What he writes up, the agreement would have.
Well, yeah, when he writes the agreement, but like they sent us to us, they didn't ask us about it, they just sent it.
That's not an agreement, that's just a
No,
statement.
of course not. We don't have an agreement, which is what we're trying to get to.
See, y'all come work out the number and the agreement, the term, right? And the solicitor's going to write that up and send it to us. And if we agree, and we have a majority of the council that agree with that, then they will sign it. And then we will be in contract.
Exactly. You
So-
understand
so
that
we're-
there's no
we're
more
gonna have
time to
to-
negotiate, right?
We're
But-
gonna have
but-
to, I'm
but-
sorry, we're gonna have to have a majority vote of both the borough and the council?
Well, we don't, the
No.
borough doesn't have to sign it.
Okay.
So, I mean, I'm just one person, I'm only here
No, I
tonight
understand.
just to hear.
Well, I'm just saying, you would want a majority of the borough to vote in favor, correct?
To enter into the agreement, that would be the.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So if they don't vote in favor, that means it just prolongs.
No,
Just
we're not
keeps
going to go
going.
back to negotiations That's
Well,
all,
at least
it's
we're
too
gonna,
late in
the
the
good
year.
thing is we're gonna vote on something next meeting, which is, right before the election, so that's good. Okay, I like that, I do like that. I think that people should know this, and the taxpayers should know what the board is doing in regards to fire services. Or lack of, whichever you want to call it, either way.
Right. Well, we need 3 votes for a certain amount that we're gonna ask hopefully for a 1-year contract. As I said, hopefully we can get to that 3 votes and send on. Our solicitor will send a letter saying, oh, I hope, I don't know what Kyle feels, he's not here.
What'd you say?
All 5.
Yeah.
Well, that would be great. I don't think it's
That
gonna
won't
happen,
that won't
but that'd be
happen.
great.
No, it won't be great. It'll be great for the borough.
So, you guys think about it. Think about it. You think about it. I know Phil's not gonna vote for it.
I
So,
thought about it and I threw out a reasonable solution. It just fell on 3 deaf ears.
Not true,
Well,
because we came up with a number
but
that
mine-
is
I'll come
closer
up with
to
the
your number.
275 is not close,
I don't know, why'd you come up with 330 anyway?
because it's 1 mil to the township.
And what is
1 mil relief off of the what is our proposed tax increase going to be?
We haven't gone through
The
the-
mill to the borough doesn't, it's the mill to the township. What is your mill? Go ahead.
So if, with the numbers that we talked about before coming into this meeting today, which was the 250, 275, it was raising 2 mills.
Okay.
for our residents. So,
All right, how many mills are we gonna approximately raise in this, budget?
3 so far.
but that's for fire service.
That's just for fire.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was my proposal, the 330 would cover 1 mil for our taxpayers, I guess.
But if we
Who
don't-
cares?
we don't have any-
Who cares about our taxpayers? Don't worry about
If
it.
we don't have a contract at all, that's $0.
it's 0.
$0 for 0 service. Come January 1st, 0 service.
Right, and
That's,
that hurts the
that's,
MFA.
that's upon them, they owe it to their constituents to take care of them, just like we owe it to ours.
Agreed.
We're throwing out, and Mr. Mack talking about Wrightstown Township, I don't know, it's nice to get over $1 million from Wrightstown Township for us to cover that. Do we want that null and void, of which they can do it any time, I think it's in the contract, they can null and void the contract, of which, boy, how much taxes will we have to increase then to cover the $1 million plus that we will be losing?
Well,
4 mils,
that's not
4
fair.
mils we'd have to raise if Wrightstown were to come tomorrow and say, hey, we just negotiated with Northampton Township, of which I'm sure, in that case, Mr. Pellegrino would take that contract. He negotiated the contract with Wrightstown. Northampton Township would gladly take $1 million away from us, if that were the case.
For police?
Yes. I'm sorry, see, there was a history of Newtown before 4 or 5 years ago. Mr. Pellegrino, he negotiated the contract with Wrightstown Township, of which now we do get a little bit over $1 million, plus annual increases that, again, I guess Mr. Mack's not happy with the annual increases. But we started at the, I don't know, 500,000, and now we're up to over $1 million, and we service them properly.
Oh, that's good. We can do the same with the fire services. Start at some number, and in 10 years, we'll be up to your number.
Yes.
We already went from nothing to 275,000.
Is that what you want? I mean,
I
Just-
want to start off with a
you're
reasonable
talking about how we got to $1 million over a period of many years, Same thing applies here. We'll get more over a period of years. Right now, let's start off with not exactly what you wanted, but higher than what it is now.
That's fine. You guys, that's what you can do.
So he's saying he's not gonna vote for that, but the three of us
I didn't say
can.
anything about a vote, because I don't want to violate any sunshine law here. I'm just saying, do what you want to do.
Okay.
You know what, if the three of
Fair
you,
enough.
if 3 votes, I'm gonna say the 3 of you, if 3 votes agree to not charge the borough anything, that's fine. Again, we all know how to count, and all you gotta do is count to 3. Get those 3, say that we'll do it at gratis, and I think we give it to you for nothing.
But your number is pulled out of thin air just
No,
because.
it's called a mill.
Yeah, it's a mill.
It's a tax.
Who cares what you call it? It's just a number pulled out of thin
It's
air.
not pulled out of thin air, it's a verifiable number.
But
It's a
why,
mill,
why would you pick that
330,000.
number? Why would you pick that number?
Because it covers for 1 mil of taxes to pay for our new firefighters that we have. That's all.
Yeah.
We're covering that nut for the time
We have to
being.
write a budget for next year, which is,
So you're saying that 330,000 covers expenses for 1 year of 2 firefighters?
I don't even know if it's for 2 firefighters. Just one.
Just one?
Yeah.
I can't believe that.
Well, you're talking about benefits, you're talking about all
Yeah.
kinds of things involved.
And I've seen it all factored out, itemized out, and it comes to like 155.
Well, if that's the case, it's even better. We're covering for two firefighters with 1 mil.
Depends by the time you add in all these.
Well, it's more like 300,000 with 155 times 2.
Well, if
310,000.
310, so that's 20.
So 310 versus 275, that's what they're paying in workers' comp, 35,000.
Well, that's not our responsibility.
No, it's not. and we
It's just a
found
number,
that out.
it's not a big number according to you, what they're paying for workers' compensation.
It's
Yeah, they've always paid for workers'
33 or
compensation.
$34,000, which we try to assume because we would like to take all of that
No,
away and
let's-
have that under our
Forget I said
control.
that. What I meant was, your number was 330, but now we know maybe 310 is what covers 2 firefighters, not 330.
330 is a mil. We'd still have to tax.
What the mill? Who gives a shit about the mill? I don't care. This is coming.
Raise 1 mil.
When it comes to
Put more
budget,
mills.
when it comes to budget time.
Doesn't matter. John can vote for 10 mils. He's not going to be on the board next year.
It's the money, not the mills.
Yeah, it is the money.
It's the-
And 330,000.
Count the money.
Is money that goes towards paying 1 mil. That's
There's
all.
no count the mill, there's count the money.
Okay, very good. Ha 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 ha.
I know you don't care, but I think they'd have a very hard time convincing their people of that huge amount of raise from 191,000 this year to 330,000. I know you don't care, but
It's not a
it's just
matter
not
of
the
caring,
right
it's a
thing to
matter
do.
of they should have been prepared for this.
Well, okay, now
And-
we're going to pursue that line, but
Okay.
we're not going to put that all on them right away. It's not right.
Okay. fine,
Let's
okay.
have an
Let's-
ascending
Then
amount,
you meet-
but let's
you
not
meet-
start with
I don't even know-
330.
Well, 330 to me, again, to me is a reasonable price for a township, for a borough that has allotted that money for the payment of fire services. As opposed to, the selling point would be, hey, then we gotta establish our own fire department, and the township already pays 3.9 for the establishment of a fire department. I don't know, what would their residents say? If the residents had a choice, would they say 330 or 4 million?
That's-
I don't know.
Just not what the negotiation has been. So I just don't agree in any way,
I
but
say-
that's my opinion.
My opinion is 330 or give it to them for free.
Okay, so we're,
I think you should have it for free.
okay, there you go, Josh, nothing.
I think
You can take that back.
I think, yeah. Put it in writing. I'll sign those options, just me. 330 or give it to free. This way, when they charge you 275, they're going above the free.
Well, that would just be you, and you don't have a quorum, and you don't have a threesome,
Yeah,
so.
I know,
we need three.
You're like almost tied into the fire department, that you just want to give them whatever they want.
No, I want to make sure they're taken care of the right way. So that has
The right
nothing
way,
to,
the right-
and you're
wait.
trying to bleed
The right
them
way, the right
to pay
way.
for them when you don't
Whenever-
even like them.
Whenever somebody tells me they want to do it the right way, it's code for do it my way. And
I
that's what
don't-
you're saying, you want it done your way.
No, that's not true.
Yes, sir.
Dennis,
Yes.
Dennis, do we agree on the way?
It's only two people.
Most of the
Two
time.
people do not
Most of the time.
negotiate and can speak for the township.
That's why
in
we're
regard.
having this meeting.
Yeah, okay, we are. And that's why I'm voicing my opinion.
And
And I'll
that's
keep
fine.
voicing my opinion.
I'm just trying to come up with a consensus that most people will be happy with. And that's that. So then if we're done, people think about it and go look online at
Is there
the,
any other public comments?
oh,
Yeah, we can't adjourn yet.
oh, I wasn't going to
No, I didn't.
hit the wood. Yes.
I can't read.
I have it here. Yes, is there any other public comment? Okay, seeing none, I will call this meeting closed. Thank you.